Good evening everybody, give me a 60-second tip today. Just working on a client's dog earlier on today that was, and some videos will be coming up shortly about it, but a dog is very reactive to people. So we managed to stop the reactivity, or the activity to be honest, because the human just needed to move and the dog would react to them. So we managed to, you have to first stop the unwanted behaviour before you can teach, a new behaviour, before you can give affection. So the tip today is, okay, now that I've managed to say stop the dog lunging at somebody in this case, or it could be another dog, how I've stopped it lunging, okay, how do I then know when to allow the dog to go from a more social distance to a more intimate distance, so less than 3 feet say. And the key thing is, make sure the dog's using their nose. If they're using their eyes too much or using their ears too much, so in other words, dogs react to the door going because they heard something, or they heard the traffic, or they heard the dog bark, or they heard the person talk, or they heard the doorbell, that causes the dog to go crazy. Or if the dog sees someone pass the window, or sees the bike coming, or sees the dog in the distance, it causes chaos. So make sure your dog is using their nose whenever they're going to actually start to interact. That's letting you know that they're going to start to interact in a more social way with whatever their issue is. If they're not using their nose, you can't let them go from a social to an intimate distance. Okay? Just keep that in mind for when you want to take the dog from a greater distance into a closer distance, and that will be ultimately real affection. Is when the dog is using their nose. Their nose is more them asking questions, whereas their eyes and their ears is, so they're staring at things or hearing things, that's them more about to give the rule, as opposed to the dog asking questions. That's me sniffing. So make sure the dog is asking questions before you actually let them go closer to their intended target or potential victim as you're going through the process. Okay? If there ain't no nose, there ain't go goes. Okay?